Please come to the mic. Yes, sir.
On one of your slides,
Yeah.
said I think Portland was restricting Wi-Fi in their parks. So you talked all about cell phones. What's your comments about Wi-Fi and also Bluetooth?
Okay. If the routers are located away from people, then for most people, Wi-Fi is not problematic. But there are growing reports of people who are quite sensitive to Wi-Fi. And for those people, the only comfortable exposure appears to be very little at all. And the science on the evidence from the environmental exposures is extremely weak, but that doesn't mean that it's safe. And I think we should learn something from that as well. Now, the City of Toronto has voted so far not to have wireless in all their parks. Many other cities have taken the opposite position. My concern is especially for children in schools. Wi-Fi routers in old buildings often, they're not like the little router you have in your home. If you have a router in your home, it should be located far away from where anyone sleeps or spends a lot of time. We have a Wi-Fi router. It's in a closet, in a floor where nobody is. And we turn it off at night if anybody is staying with us who has a problem with it. But the kind of Wi-Fi routers you have in old buildings, it's like industrial strength Wi-Fi. And if your child happens to be seated right next to it, it could be a big problem. And there's no rational policy for locating these routers. There needs to be a much more coherent policy about where routers are located, when they're on, how they're labeled, and what people know about them. Okay, thank you.
My question is, I've seen devices that you can put on your cell phone to protect it. Are those valid?
I know of no studies that show that those devices work. Now, it should not be my job to test them, should it? It's really not my job to do that. But I know of no studies that are independently done that show that they work. And the studies with the thermograms that show you the heat, it's not the heat that we need to be worried about. It's the pulsed digital signal.
Hi. What about the products like Earthing and Q-Link that you're supposed to wear? Or
Right. I am not able to evaluate any of that. Earthing, which is something different. I mean, the idea that you feel better when you're connected to the earth, both spiritually and physically, I think we can't deny that, you know. It's kind of hard to do in Manhattan. Right? Right. And again, Q-Link, I have no data. I've never seen any independent data on any of that. Right? Right.
This is very interesting. Thank you. For guys, they don't carry a pocketbook, so back pocket. I mean, is there any place safe on the body, or are you suggesting just really don't have it on if it's on your body at all?
Look, let's be realistic. These, if you're working with these things, I think that we're going to see increasing examples. Men are going to start carrying MERSes, male purse, MERS. And using it in the outer pocket with winter clothes, it's a lot easier. Yeah. Summer clothes, and especially in the jogging shorts, forget it. You're really radiating the reproductive organs, male or female. So I think one of the issues here is that phones can be made safer. Look, we put airbags and seatbelts on cars. Remember, for years it said we're going to bankrupt the car industry if we required catalytic converters. If we required all these safety devices, the American public will never pay for it. We can't afford it. Remember that? Well, guess what? We figured out how to do it. Now, we still live in the greatest country in the world in many ways. And I know, hold patents on ways to make phones safer with different antennas, different hardware, different software. Right now, the software of your phone is configured so that more than once a second, it's seeking a signal from a tower, wherever you are. You could change the hardware, you can change the software, you can change antennas so that they don't emit as much radiation and they still work. You have to site them differently. There's a whole bunch of things we can do. And that will only happen when people are more informed and organized to demand it. So there's a lot we can do. But for now, men should not be carrying phones directly on their body unless they're on airplane mode.
What's the difference between off and airplane mode?
Okay.
You mention airplane mode a lot.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. You just told me something else I want to show you. Airplane mode means that the phone is still on, and it can more easily be turned on from that. And off means it takes a while to turn it on, okay? And here's a little commercial message I want to share with you, 15 seconds long.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! We want you to learn how to practice safe tech.
Practice safe tech.
Always remember, distance is your friend,
Distance is your friend.
and children should only use devices on airplane mode.
Airplane mode.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
That's my grandson. Thank you.
What is the best type of headset that you might recommend? I saw you had like a regular telephone there.
Any headset's better than none, okay? This has the advantage that it's well insulated, the wire's thicker, so a thicker wire gives you more insulation. The worst thing to do is to have the phone in your pocket and then have it draped on your body here, because then you're getting the radiation in here that you would otherwise be getting here. The ideal headset would be an air tube with a ferrite bead on it. I have not found any. Ferrite just has a little metal that diffuses the signal a bit. But I've not found any that work really well. I have lots and lots of broken headsets, as I think most people do. But any headset is better than none. And a Bluetooth, I didn't answer that question before. Some people are sensitive to Bluetooth as well, but a Bluetooth does reduce the signal. The problem is people will have a Bluetooth here, and they'll keep the phone in the pocket. And that's not a good idea.
Thank you.
Right. There was a gentleman. Oh. Okay, thanks. Go ahead.
Hi, thank you. Most of the kids these days, they're texting rather than talking. So now with the kids, they have their phones pretty much with them all day. So what are we talking about? Do we have to keep them in their backpacks, not on their bodies at all? Is texting the same as having it up to your ear?
Okay. I had a long phone call from India a few days ago, and I've recently spoken to someone in Vancouver. The problems of texting are two separate things. The singer, children's advocate, Rafi, is organizing against cyberbullying. There have been suicides in Canada, India, and the United States of young children who have been bullied by texting on phones. I mean, the reason The Lord of the Flies was such a powerful novel is that it reflected what will happen when young children can run amok without the normal controls that adults often provide them. What a cell phone does for a young child is give them a vehicle for relating to other children without the controls that parents traditionally can provide. So I'm very concerned about that component of texting in children, and young children in particular. I think we really are not fully aware of the extent to which you give your child a phone and allowing them to text, and you're opening them not only to predators, but to the bad behaviors and impulses that children have had throughout history, for which we've been able to say, stop, don't do that. Don't hit your brother. You can't, you have to learn, be nice, and be nice by example more so than don't do that. Be nice by positive example. Having said that, the physiological concerns about texting are these. A child keeping a phone close to their body for hours a day is exposing their reproductive organs to microwave radiation. Nobody can tell you the long-term effects of that. But the reproductive capacity of the animals that I showed you that were exposed, the mice and the rats, is something that we are evaluating now. And it certainly does not look like it's a good idea for young girls to be microwaving all of the eggs that they contain. Young women are born with all of the babies they can ever produce. Their oocytes are already programmed, and when those eggs form, you don't get a second chance. So my concern is both with the physiology as well as the psychology of these devices. And I'll be glad to answer your question afterwards, but I've been asked to stop at this time. I'll be happy to talk to you in the hall afterwards. Thank you all very much.